He's gonna get to choose whether to go first. So it looks like we have both players keeping on 7. Always nice to see in the finals. Good luck, have fun. Always a good way to start off the game. So Scolding turn, no play from MVP. Not usually what you want in Grixis Delver, but it's acceptable to have hands that don't do it. He might be end of turn casting Thought Scour. So just the delayed turn 1 play. If not, he might have an explosive turn 2. Maybe Young Pyromancer or something like that. So he's gonna fetch. We'll see if he goes for a Thought Scour or not. Maybe a Lightning Bolt. Usually Lightning Bolt. Not that good against Tron. He's gonna go for a Water Grape. Untapped. So he's gonna Thought Scour himself. Let's see if this is potentially a turn 2 Angler or Tastiger. That would be a good start against Tron. And then by turn 3 he would be able to hold up Counterspell when Tron would be active. Five cards in graveyard, so we can play an Angler or a Tastiger. These needs to be powerful starts, you know. Thought Scour can like be a Dark Ritual that draws you a card sometimes. Kind of feels like that effect. There we go, turn 2 Tastiger, or turn 2 Sigur as some people refer to it as. And followed with a Delver, so not a bad start. He can definitely apply pressure now, and he'll be able to leave Counterspell Magic up before Tron will be active. With a Grove of the Burn Wills, Tron won't be active till turn 4, so definitely enough time for MVP to make sure he has counters up to counter the first big thing that Console might play. We'll see if the Delver flips. Looks like it doesn't flip. So we'll see what he decides to do, if he wants to leave up counters this turn, or if he feels like he can play more stuff this turn. He doesn't have red mana yet, either. But he's going to be able to attack for 5 this turn. It's pretty good. Just thinking what he wants to do now. Probably has multiple things he could do. There you go, he's a Bloodstained Mire, so he's active to red if he needs it. He's going to attack for 5, get the pressure down. He's going to pass now, leaving up counters. Maybe instances you might want to use end of turn, like Lightning Bolt, more Thought Scours. So Urza's Mine being revealed, so Power Plant, there's a Mine. See if he can get the tower down next turn. Yep, the Mine comes down. Wouldn't be unlikely that the tower comes down next turn. Here's a Relic. Relic, unfortunately, a little too late. Couldn't stop Tastiger from coming down. And Chromatic Star also coming down here, giving him access to colored mana if he needs it later on. Let's see if he'll flip the Delver this time. Didn't cast any spell last turn, just left with 3 mana up. Delver doesn't flip again, so he's either drawing creatures or lands. So he decides upkeep, he doesn't want to draw whatever card he looked at. The thing with Delver is Delver lets you look at the top card before you draw it, and there's this... Before you draw your card, before you go to your draw phase, you are allowed to fetch. So decided the card he saw wasn't an instant, couldn't flip it, didn't want to draw it, so he fetched his land. Heads up play from MVP. Gonna attack again for 5 more. Play another land untapped. He's gonna play a Young Pyromancer, leaving 2 mana up, so probably leaving up some sort of counter spell. Could be Remand, could be Deprive, could be Mana Leak. All of those are cards that Grixis Delver could have. And right now, you know, he might have lethal next turn if he has a Lightning Bolt in hand. or if Delver flips, or Young Pyromancer makes some tokens. I think, you know, Console's gonna need to have a good one next turn. Because I wouldn't trust that he would get another turn after this one. Power plant being tapped here for mana. I think he's digging for the tower. He might not have it. Usually everyone expects Tron to just have it, but might not have it this game. He's tapping this land. Might be looking for a Pyroclasm, some sort of sweeper. I'm gonna play another star or sphere. The Tron player might be stuck without a land. He's cycling all these cards. I think he might need a land. There's a Grove, not the land he wanted. There's a Sylvan Scrying. So he can find the tower next turn, but will he get another turn after this? That's the question. He's completely tapped out now. A Lightning Bolt will kill him. Delver flipping plus a spell on the end of the turn would kill him. So no Lightning Bolt played. Delver flips, revealing Lightning Bolt. Delver revealing Lightning Bolt. Exactly what he wanted. Who knows if he had the Lightning Bolt already, but that's definitely going to do it. Delver revealing Lightning Bolt. A powerful play. And I'm MVP is going to win game 1 against Tron. You know, Tron stumbled a little bit, couldn't find the third piece. Delver just didn't give it any time. Turn 2 Tasker plus a Delver, and just left up mana for counters. You know, had a really straightforward game plan and executed it really well. That's exactly what Delver wants to do, is just apply early threats and have mana up to counter things that, you know, counter what you'll be doing, because probably what you'll be doing will be coming down later than what they're doing, because they have 1-drops, 2-drops, or, you know, powerful spells that most of the time can cost 1 mana. Tasker, very powerful card. Came out in Fate Reforged. Didn't see play for a while, actually. But, you know, now that Dragons came out, the Grixis Delver deck really is growing in popularity. Probably just people didn't see it right away or didn't think it was good right away. Kolaghan's Command was one card that was added to the Grixis Delver's deck, but that's usually 1 or 2 of, so I wouldn't say that broke the deck, but some people say that Tasker is the new Goyf, or the Gourmet Angler is. Definitely there are different cards with some similarities. Tasker can be better in some ways because it has this ability that can generate card advantage over time. It's an interesting comparison. We'll have to see over the next few months or years how decks develop to either play Tasker and or Goyf. So 2 players sideboarding right now before next game starts. Once again, gotta give a huge shout out to our sponsors, Mox Chains, for letting us run this event, putting all the prizes into it. They're a huge help. And you know, I think in general their service is just really good. Letting players trade among each other on Magic Online. Kind of like having your own personal bot do the trading for you. You know, you set the prices that you're willing to sell your cards at, and then other players can buy them. Anyways, game 2 starting here. Tasker is bananas. There are definitely bananas in the art of Tasker. Yeah, like with all these Delve creatures, Thought Scour kind of has become a dark ritual that lets you draw a card. That was really what got me into it. People were like, I saw a friend playing this Grixis Delver deck, and then he's like, I'm just like, I didn't really like it at first. Then he mentioned, yo man, this Thought Scour, it's like a dark ritual that draws you a card. I'm like, well, that seems like a good thing to have. That's a good effect. It's not even just dark ritual. It's like, it makes you the mana, but you don't have to use it right away. You know, when it's in your graveyard, you can use it any time for the Delve. Anyway, so Cataxian Probe coming down, turn 1 Delver Secrets, once again getting early pressure on. But because Tron is on the play, there he goes. He has the second piece of Tron. He has the map in play that can find the third piece. Turn 3, he's going to have access to 7 mana if he wants to. He play Karn, Wormcoil, crazy stuff like that. Now, is this Delver going to flip? It doesn't flip. So Delver doesn't flip. The Serum Visions might set it up so that Delver will flip next turn. Not as much pressure coming down this game, but... And on the draw too, so... We'll definitely feel like a different game. With the momentum probably in Console's favor. Look at this. Look at these art for the Tron lands. It's really beautiful. Like a different game. With the momentum probably in Console's favor. Why is my thing echoing? Huh? Anyways, back to this game. So the mine being picked, so now he has the third piece. There we go. Here's Tron. There's a Karn coming down. There's no Spell Pierce coming from the Grixis list, so looks like Karn is gonna exile the Delver. It's gonna, you know, he has a good board presence now. He could Lightning Bolt kill the Karn, which would be good for him. Otherwise, this Karn's gonna be pretty good. Probably ticking up next turn. Another Probe coming down. Delver Secrets plus a land. The thing is, this Karn's gonna be an issue to deal with, because now he can just plus it so that it's out of distance of like dying to a bolt or something. And then it's just probably gonna stay in play for a while now. Pyroclasm coming down just to clear the Delver. Just needs to 1-for-1 with it. Doesn't even need to get any sort of 2-for-1 value. Spell Snare is the counter. There's a Relic, so preventing any shenanigans with Tasker most likely. Tasker Angler. There you go. Karn's gonna plus. Like I said, now it's at 7 loyalty. It's gonna be really hard for IMMP to kill it. And I think it's probably gonna just take over this game. What is this? 1 mana being tapped in response. He's gonna Thought Scour. He's gonna Thought Scour targeting Console. Interesting. Maybe he wants to see more of Console's cards now. I suppose he knows that Thought Scouring himself isn't going to help with this Relic of Genius, so he might as well just mill his opponent's cards. Delver flipped, but still can't kill this Karn. Relic, gonna exile now. Make sure Tasker doesn't come down. Seems like a good choice. Stirring, okay, Ancient Stirring is coming down. He has 1 forest, so Blood Moon did come down. Blood Moon does stop Tron from doing anything crazy right now. Ugin revealed off the Stirring. It's not what he wanted exactly. But Karn exiling the Blood Moon right away, letting him play this Ugin now. Ugin's probably going to kill this Delver. Look at this. Ugin plussing, dealing 3 damage to a Delver. Look at him with his art. Even has the promo one. Definitely see Console blinged out his Tron deck entirely. But, you know, IMMP is just on such few resources now. When the Grixis Delver deck gets behind, it's very hard for it to catch up. It doesn't have many good catch-up mechanics like any sort of treasure cruise like it used to have. The only thing it has now that can really take advantage of Delve is just Anglers and Taskers, which is just 1 creature. Sometimes Tasker can generate value, but it's slowing over time. And, you know, Ugin the Spear Dragon card is just applying way too much pressure. Planeswalker is something that Grixis Delver can't deal with. You know, there's not many people play cards like Hero's Downfall in the format or Dreadbore. Just, there's not many Planeswalkers in Modern, really. Just Liliana, and then Cardin and Ugin are basically in one deck only, which is Tron. So, now we'll see. Game 3. Game 3 of the finals. How it's supposed to be. Oops. See if that's glitched a little. No, not this Ancient Stirring. Moto, please. See if we can get rid of that Ancient Stirring. There we go. Let's go look at this. So, I'm MVP, keeping 7. Console's gonna mulligan to 6, but likes a 6. But I'm MVP being on the play does let him leverage the advantage this time. Plays Steam and untapped, probably means he's a Thought Scour or a Lightning Bolt. I would probably say Thought Scour. Lightning Bolt's not that good of a card post-board. Probably took some amount out. Other than for racing purposes. There's an Expedition map, so assembling the Tron slowly. Lightning Bolt, so not even Thought Scour, which would have been better. Lightning Bolt's not the best thing to be doing on turn 1. Let's see if he can do something this turn powerful. Maybe Thought Scour, play Tasker. No, he finds an island. Plays a Young Pyromancer. He's fetched for an island. Maybe he's going for a Blood Moon. A quick Blood Moon can hopefully like stop Tron from doing anything. This is a 62 card deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards, 9. Yeah, I guess this I'm MVP did side up into 62 cards in his deck. That's what it looks like. Yeah, there's 3 cards in play, 2 in his graveyard, 4 in his hand. That's 9 plus the cards in his hand in his deck. So yeah, it looks like MVP did side up. You know, maybe he had cards he wanted to bring in, didn't know what to take out. So it looks like there is the Blood Moon. Grove looks like he doesn't. Grove could have tapped for green and maybe he had a Nature's Claim, but it doesn't look like he did. So this Blood Moon is going to do some work against Console. Now, Expedition map can crack to find Basic Forest. However, if Console doesn't have Nature's Claim, it won't matter. He did search for the Basic Forest, so it lets him play some cards, but he's going to need some sort of enchantment hate, or else Tron's going to be severely slowed down. So, Chromatic Star coming out now. That can also provide colored mana. I know in real life you are allowed to side into a different amount that you started with. So Pyroclasm does come down, removing the Young Pyromancer. So now does IMVP, does he have some way to put more pressure on board? You know, Tron does it like under no pressure, Tron eventually will just play lands and eventually land Wormcoil or a Karn. IMVP, it's on him to play a Delver, a Young Pyromancer, Snapcaster Mage or something. He doesn't have any Black Source because he fetched for an island with the Polluted Delta. Ancient Stirrings now. Revealing a Relic of Progenitus. There's a Snapcaster Mage for Lightning Bolt. There we go. So that is some pressure. So Lightning Bolt, Console 12. Snapcaster can hit him 10. So now there is a clock on Console again. Granted, it is only 2 damage a turn. But we'll see if Console will be able to just play lands. Maybe deal with the Blood Moon. Maybe just get to 6 mana, cast Wormcoil. It'll be interesting. There we go, Lightning Bolt down to 12. Untap, see what he does. thing is, Grixis Delver doesn't play too many basics itself, so it's unlikely he'll draw more basics, so this might be what he's stuck on. Maybe more red sources, but that's about it. This Relic, gonna exile a card. So more cycling, seeing what he can find. Probably wants to make sure he can get lands. I don't believe Tron plays that many lands because it does rely on, you know, all these cycling cards to find the lands and Expedition Map to find the few lands it does need to function. You know, Tron can function off 4 or 5 lands as long as he has, you know, the Urza's Mine, Urza's Tower, and the Power Plant, which by themselves will produce 7 mana combined. There's a Thought Scour. Interesting, these relics haven't been popped. So Lightning Bolt to the Dome, out of the hand, increasing the clock a little bit. Another Lightning Bolt would also be big. Or Snapcaster Lightning Bolt. I mean, I suppose Snapcaster wouldn't get value out of Lightning Bolt because of the relics in play. That's why Console's smartly been keeping these relics up. Yeah, you know, Blood Moon is one of those hoser cards meant to keep decks in check in modern decks that play too many non-basics. Tron, one of the examples of a deck that has a rough time against Blood Moon sometimes. You know, Abzan decks as well. Bloom Titan's a deck that's especially vulnerable to Blood Moon. Wormcoil Engine, hard cast. Thought Scour coming down, but if this resolves, it might be big. You know, maybe if he doesn't have a way to close out this game, doesn't have a Vapor Snag, maybe he can do some bolt shenanigans like attack with his creatures, bolt his own creature so that the Wormcoil doesn't gain life, because it doesn't deal any damage if the creature dies. But if this Wormcoil can attack, there's a Serum Visions, making another token. Looks like Console might be able to get away with just naturally casting a Wormcoil off of 6 lands. You know, IMVP wasn't able to apply as much pressure as he might have wanted to. So Tron might be able to get through this Blood Moon. You know, with Blood Moon versus Tron, it's usually not you're cutting them off of colors of mana, it's just you're cutting them off of extra mana that the Tron lands would produce. You know, Urza's Tower usually producing 3 mana, mine usually producing 2, but that's only if there is the power plant in play. Which he could have had, but he searched for a force because of the Blood Moon. No, for sideboards, you can have any amount you want in paper and online. They changed the rules, so you could have like a 14-card sideboard in real life. So here comes the Wormcoil attacking. It's going to be a chump block. Wonder if a Lightning Bolt is going to... There we go, a Lightning Bolt. He's going to target his own elemental just so that the Wormcoil doesn't gain life. This could be game. MVP could still win this game now if Console doesn't have something good to follow it. He doesn't have another Wormcoil, it doesn't have a land in a Karn. Can't like play and activate O-Stone. MVP might win this game still. The way this works is, because Elemental token blocked Wormcoil and then the Elemental died, Wormcoil didn't deal any damage to anything, so it can't gain life because it didn't deal damage. Because the creature died before damage step. You know, Lightning Bolt your own creature to avoid damage from Wormcoil, it's a trick that's been around for a while. A little subtle, sometimes you don't know it. But, you know, very timely there. Even if he had an attack with a Wormcoil and left it back to block, MVP would have attacked, and then I guess Wormcoil would have blocked a 2-power creature, so that he would have only had like 4 power attacking, so he wouldn't... Maybe it was bad that he attacked there. But then again, if he doesn't attack, then he's just giving MVP extra turns. Karn does come down, though. Karn can exile one of these two attackers, make it so that MVP only has 4 power attacking him. So maybe this game isn't over. Maybe Console does still have this game. Unless IMVP has another Bolt, or like any spell you can play end of turn to make a token, but not many red spells in the deck other than Lightning Bolt. There's the Young Pyromancer, so only 4 power on board right now. I think it's gonna be Lightning Bolt or bust for MVP. But, you know, having more Lightning Bolts. He's already played 2. He's already played 3 actually. He is the 4th Lightning Bolt. The 4th Lightning Bolt. Looks like Lightning Bolt did the work this game. Lightning Bolt early and often. We saw the turn 1 Lightning Bolt off the Steam Vents, and then finishing off. Wow, Lightning Bolt just doing all the work here. Just 9 damage, and it saved him the life there. That's insane. There we go. IMVP is gonna win the match. Gonna win Week 3 of our Thursday Night Modern. Console, congratulations, runner-up. Still did well. Apparently, IMVP scried 2 Lightning Bolts on top with the Serum Vision, so he knew he had it coming. That's insane. MVP knew that. Scried 2 Lightning Bolts on top. This seems like a good one. But congratulations to both the winners there. Let's look at the final standings now. Here we go. Report the score. I'm MVP. Being the MVP of this event, his name suits him well.